Welcome to the Book Binge. I'm your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and you might be familiar with the fact that I've already covered Chess Story by Stefan Zweig on Short Story Sundays. But reviews and whatever that series failed to be are a little bit different, so the fact that I'm covering this a second time is not just recycled content, this is a totally different type of video. This time there's going to be no summary, there's no real tangible spoilers, and there's less mispronunciations of authors' names. Like, legitimately, why did neither Reen nor Rumo correct my absolute butchering of Zweig in any of the previous times I ever said that name on this channel? Like, seriously? You're not gonna throw a guy a bone here? Like, good grief. Anyway, because this story here is novella length, I figured I could get away with reviewing it individually as opposed to like the actual short stories that I used to cover on Short Story Sundays. So I got around to catching up on some previous spooky season reads that needed to be reviewed, and now I'm relying on just a couple of the novellas that I read for Short Story Sundays to make up a couple extra reviews here in, well, I guess it's May of 2025 because of busy work schedule, other stuff going on. I needed a lot of reviews to make up extra content because I didn't have time to really prepare much of anything else. So let's kind of jump into things here and talk about the good of Chess Story in my opinion. I think the best part about Chess Story is that you don't have to be a fan of chess to enjoy this story, and I guess you could say pun intended, pun not intended. The truth is I didn't intend anything either way. It's less about the game in this story and more about how two particular people became masters of the game. And while that obviously does incorporate stuff about the game, again, I don't think you need to really know the game or even really be a fan of playing it to appreciate what the story is doing here. It does require perhaps a bit of basic understanding of chess, sure, but to be honest, if you don't know how chess works, I don't really know what to tell you. So if that's a factor of you being able to enjoy this, I might have to actually hold judgment against you. Either way, because this story is kind of a twofold character study, like it's a double, like the first half is kind of studying one character, back half kind of goes into studying another character through a completely different like in-story means, which is cool. The chess story as a whole is about characterization. It is great characterization as well. You kind of have a natural genius in his natural environment. That's one of the characters you're studying. And then the other character you're studying is a learned scholar who basically had no other options. And saying any more would be getting into spoilers, so I'm not going to do that. But the nuance between these characters and kind of their combat as they're playing chess is super exhilarating. Really enjoyed that content of the story. I also think that the way that the story explores character through the psyche was a really great approach, and I heartily commend Zweig for doing that satisfyingly. But as for the bad, I do think there are actually a couple things that hold back Chess Story. I don't think this is perfect the way that at least a couple people I know would be inclined to say. And obviously the first thing has to do with the fact that if you're really, 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 really not into chess, you probably won't care about the story at all. But if you really, 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 really don't care about chess, why are you watching this video? So, that's kind of a point in and of itself. But again, since I don't think that that is the thing that the story is about, you'll probably be fine even if you don't like chess very much. Additionally, I think that the structure of Chess Story might be a little bit off-putting to some people, to a couple of readers, relatively speaking, because about 45% of the way through, until about 75% of the way through, a solid 30, maybe 35% of the book is just kind of a recounting of a character's story. Because again, the beginning of this is a character study of one character, and then you go into this section that's recounting. It's kind of like somebody telling his experience, and that's, learning about the other character. I think that this worked pretty well, but I do think that it might take some other people out. That's perfectly okay, something to look out for. While I've mounted praise for the story and agree that it is masterful to some degree, I also got to say that I will kind of weirdly was not blown away by this novella. Like I just kind of wasn't. I was surprised and delighted by how good it was in many ways, yet I did not find it notably like mind altering. It wasn't like, oh my God, this was such a mind blowing story. This was like completely shifted the way that I think about. So no, it's not. Like, it's really good, but it's not like the most mind blowing thing in the world. And again, that's not even necessarily a bad thing either, but I kind of came to expect that the story was that wowing for some people, and I personally struggle to see how that could be the case, even though it is really good. So if you are a fan, or become a fan of the story if you choose to read it, but aren't so like, this is the best thing I've ever read about it, you're in company. I can't guarantee the company's any good, but it's still company. As for the ugly of Chess Story, it's no real big surprise that a classic's introduction is spoilery. But do not read the introduction to the edition that I read, like, at all. Just do not do it. It's not even a case of you can read the introduction afterwards, like introductions to a lot of like Penguin classics and stuff like that tend to be. This literally spoils a completely different story that Stefan Zweig wrote that isn't Chess Story for absolutely no reason at all. Like, it also doesn't say anything that like a 5th grader couldn't parse from the story. So like, yeah, heed my warning here. Don't read the introduction because it spoils both Chess Story and a completely unrelated one without actually really making any points that effectively matter. So yeah, I regret doing that. Thankfully, I've forgotten what story it spoiled and what way it spoiled it in, but I was still pretty pissed when that happened at the time. As for the recommendation, yes, I recommend Chess Story because I don't think anybody loathes chess enough for this to not work at all, you know? Even if it doesn't become your new favorite, it is a solid story, and I don't think it's really overhyped. Like, it kind of is, but not necessarily, you know? It's very good, and because it's very good, it's easy to recommend. Chess Story is engaging. It says a lot about various aspects of the human condition in a short runtime. In fact, some of its characterization is in kind of underrepresented ways now, the means of the storytelling to do so. Pretty good. Very good story, so I do recommend it, like I said. But that is going to be the review. Definitely a really short one this week. Maybe I made a mistake deciding to review a couple of novellas here, but you know, that's the way the dice falls sometimes. Here in a couple weeks, I'll be doing a review of The Sandman to kind of go along with this review here of Chess Story. And I suspect that this review will do poorer than most, alongside being a little bit worse in quality than most of my reviews. But if you enjoy reviews in general, I have a ton more of them coming this month. This is only the first of like, 7 or 8 reviews coming just this month alone. So if you like that kind of thing, I hope you stick around. But for now, I've been your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.